guys, welcome to the Computer Information Highway. This is your Java programming tutorial number 18, but yeah, we're going to call it 18, but it's kind of just like a wrap-up. We're going to kind of wrap up what we did in this project, what we accomplished, and I'm going to show you some cool debugging tools you can use to go through your programs and kind of like make it easier to keep an eye on what's going on, and so you can figure out what's going on, if something's going wrong in your problem or not. So, to start off, I'm sure you guys noticed before in the last video we have this never used whatever. So the reason why it's giving us this is because down here we are setting the value of the answer equal to the answer of this. And this is only ever going to return true or false, and we're setting what it is, so we don't even need to declare its value initially. So we can delete it and just put in a semicolon and just call it an answer. We have the space has been allocated, we just need to set it to a value, and that's what this is going to do right here. And since it always runs, it doesn't run into any conflicts with any of the program, and since it exists outside of the scope of our brackets, it is going to run in here. So Boolean answer, that gets rid of that, and that fixes all that up. Alright, so what did we accomplish in this little project we did? Well, we calculated the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Well, kinda. We didn't really calculate anything, we just sort of checked it based off of like what we knew it was. But how did we do that? Alright, so if we go through this program, I'm gonna do this I'm just gonna like talk you through it. I'm gonna talk you through exactly what we did, and then I'm gonna show you how you can actually move through your code as it's running. Alright, so we're starting up here at the top. We're creating this new Boolean answer, and it's going to dictate whether or not we have figured out the answer. If we have figured out the answer, it's going to stop, it's not going to run anymore. If not, this do while loop is going to make it to where this set of code executes until it does figure out the answer. So we're creating a new number here, and we're setting it within, we're creating a random number between 1 and 100, and down here you'll see that we have our minimum and maximum value, and we're creating a new random object which we call rand, and we're returning a random integer between our minimum and maximum value. And I explained before that I didn't really come up with this, I looked it up. I'm going to be honest with you, it's not very hard to look up these kinds of things, especially simple questions. Like in this situation, I looked up the range for a next int on Google, and voila, on my first hit, I was able to figure it out. And yeah, so Google, I'm gonna reiterate that point. Google and the internet are going to be your best friends. You're going to have your Java documentation, your C# documentation. You can look up your documentation for any program you're using. If you have questions about the way something works, you can usually look it up. Just make sure you're looking for a broad enough question, and you're not trying to look up like a specific question. Like if I asked, why is this function not working, and I didn't give any of the information of the function or what came before it, I'm obviously not going to be able to figure out my question, and also it's way too specific for me to expect the answer to already exist. But saying, hey, how do I find the range, or how do I create a random number, a random integer between two numbers? It was really easy. I was just able to Google it. So you just gotta not be too specific unless you're asking somebody directly, and then make sure you're providing them with enough information, otherwise you're never going to find the answer that you need. So we created our minimum and our maximum random number. It created our one number between those two, and it stores it as this variable new number, and it puts it through here, and it's checking to see if that number is 42. And if that number is 42, it's going to return true or false. And it's going to go through it. It's going to ask, what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? Is it new number? And it's going to put a question mark at the end. If it is the new number, which is this checking right here, it already calculated whether or not it was the new number, it's going to say yes, that was the new number. It doesn't say that was the new number, but it says yes. So we have found our number. If not, it's going to print out no, because we didn't find our number. And that's what this part that is the key of this part right here, is answer. The exclamation mark in front of it is going to be not true. So if this returned not true, then it's going to continue. So it goes through it until it finds it and it prints it out. To show you one more time, I'm just going to hit F6. It's going through it, it went through a few times, and it found the number 42, and since that was the answer, it put it in here. So, I told you before I was going to show you some debugging stuff, so I'm going to show you how you can go through your code real quick. So you can go up here to debug, and you can hit debug main project. Since I set this as my main project, you can also debug file if there's a specific file you're trying to run. So we're going to debug our main project, and you see that it just ran, nothing happened. You're like, what? That didn't tell me anything useful. Well, that's because we didn't put any breakpoints in there. The program is going to run, it's going to go through until it reaches a breakpoint or an error. Since we have no errors in this program, it's not going to break out. So we're going to create a breakpoint, and you can do that by, you see the lined numbers here on the left hand side. If you click on the line that you want to debug, in this case I'm going to create a breakpoint at system output line, what is the answer to life, universe, and everything. Oops. So I'm going to create a breakpoint there, and it was just by clicking over here next to the number. Now whenever I run this again, whenever I debug this again I should say, it's going to go through until it reaches that line, and it's going to stop. It's going to change our perspective. We have these pieces at the bottom, we have these pieces at the side, and what the heck is going on? So I'm going to shorten that up a little bit and make it a little bit easier to see. So what's going on is you're able to see what is going on with the program. You're able to see what values are stored into memory, what their values are, and where it came from, etc. So if you look up here, where's the tool? Is this it? Step over expression, step into. Okay, step into is going to step into that function, and it's going to go through every part of that function. If we were to hit F7 here, which is the hotkey for this, it should bring us into the print line function, and yeah, see, it's bringing us into the print line function, and it's doing some stuff that we haven't learned yet. And it's going to, yeah. So we're just going to continue. So we're just going to hit this play button. The continue will play until it'll continue the program until it reaches another breakpoint. Since we had that breakpoint here in this loop, and chances are good that this number did not generate a 42, if we just hit the continue, it's going to go and it's going to come to the next spot and it's going to stop at where it was. So how is this useful, or what can we do? So let's say our breakpoint was actually here at 19, and I took this one away and I were to just hit continue. It would go to that point. It would do all of the code up to that point, so we don't have to sit there and go through every single operation that happened during that. So we're able to look at this. And we're able to go through, we can check the values, see like we have answer here. If you go through and look at it, it says the answer is a type of Boolean, and the value is false. And the new number that we calculated was 39. It was actually pretty close to 42. It could have actually returned true from whenever I was questioning it earlier, but it didn't. It tells you the values of certain variables, and let's see. If I'm gonna put a watch, and a watch basically keeps an eye on a number, or it keeps an eye on a variable, and it just gives you constant feedback about what it is. So right now it's telling us the variable is 99, but I'm going to continue this, and it's F5 to continue, so we're going to hit F5 from now on, I think. So we're going to go F5, it's going to check to see if the answer is false. Oh, let's take that breakpoint out. False. False, and actually we can pin answer. New watch, answer, okay. Answer. Oh, okay. So this is what I was going to tell you about earlier. So you remember how new number is declared inside and answer is declared outside? We can use answer past the brackets because of that case. I'm going to show you a perfect example of why that might not happen if you do it on the inside. And it's because this number, new number, as a watch. I did it earlier. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to delete this one. And new number, new watch. Okay. It creates that new watch. Since we're at this line, and this line technically exists outside of the scope of this range because it's checking this statement right here. It says down here, new number is not a known variable in the current context. That is because new number has been freed of its resources. It does not exist anymore for all intents and purposes. We don't need to worry about it anymore. So that is the point that I was trying to get to earlier whenever I was telling you about why this should be on the outside rather than the inside and how it affects the flow of the program. So I think that is what we were going to do, and that ends that. I'm going to take that off and I'm going to hit continue, and we're going to play this out to the end, and it succeeded, and it went all of those times, and I'm so glad I did not try to go through those individually. That's why we have programming. It makes things like this a million times simpler. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for keeping up with this tutorial, and we just calculated the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I'll see you guys in the next programming tutorial. Peace.